Hey you guys, so you probably won't believe this, but this is actually my 6th time trying to film this video. Yes, that's right, my 6th time. Because of noise, camera issues, problems, just filming this particular video has been probably one of the most difficult videos I've filmed yet. So hopefully I get through it this time and you guys enjoy it. I wanted to show you guys how I take notes digitally. First of all, I'm using an iPad Pro and an Apple Pencil. I did not get these just for taking notes. I use this for all kinds of things. Like, it's literally like my TV, I use it for drawing, I use it for like everything. It basically functions as a secondary computer to me. So this was a really good investment for me. I used to take all my notes paper and pencil, but I find that I can take notes faster and neater with less like revisions on an iPad. So that's why I'm showing you guys today. If you want to see how I take notes pen and paper with lots of whiteout, let me know. But today I am using the Talk to Me in Korean Level 1 grammar book. I am on lesson 12. This is a review for me. I'm actually on level 3 of these books. But I'm kind of going back through and reviewing level 1 again. So these notes will not be as detailed as if it was my first time going through it. But I have this on my Kindle app and I have it split screened with my GoodNotes 5 app. I love GoodNotes. This is probably one of my favorite note-taking apps. I've tried quite a few, but I really like the way GoodNotes is set up. So I keep it very, very simple. For colors and sizes, I use black for my main notes and my titles, and then for the Korean words, I will typically do them in a bright color, and then for the English translations, I do them in a pastel version of the same color. You can see I've got quite a few pairs here that I use a lot. Today I'm using hot pink. Most of my notes are done in 0.4 millimeters, and then my titles are done in 0.7. And for highlight, I typically keep the highlight at 3 or 4.5 millimeters, and it's a pastel that goes with whatever colors I'm using. And that's pretty much it. I also keep the pen on ballpoint because I prefer the look of it. It makes my handwriting look neater because my handwriting is not super neat to begin with. So for my titles, I just have it nice and thick, and I just do all caps. Lesson 12, dot. Then I will switch to the smaller pen size, and I will put whatever it says here, whatever that lesson is going over, so that I can quickly flip through the lessons if I need to check up on anything. So my handwriting's a bit of a mess because I go from like nice, neat, trying to make everything the same size to trying to write fast. So if I'm trying to take really nice, neat, specific notes, it will look like this. My normal handwriting kind of looks like this. So I do change my handwriting up slightly for taking notes because it's easier to read, easier to review, and it slows down my handwriting, which means I'm paying more attention to what I'm actually writing and the way I'm forming the letters, which for me actually helps. I tend to move stuff around a lot, make sure it fits well. I like my notes very, very pretty as I can get them with my handwriting. So that's a huge title. So when it gets like that big, what I'll do is take the subtitle, move it down a line. Whoops, I grabbed the 2 there. Hold on. We'll grab this, move it down a line, nice and neat. Pull the lesson title over here, center it as best I can, erase that little dot, and then I will take my highlighter and go ahead and make some lines on either side of the heading. That way you can tell it's a heading and it looks nice and neat. When I had originally went to film this, I planned it to be a voiceover because you guys know I ramble. So, this is not a voiceover. This is all live, me talking, so we'll see how this goes. Okay, so first thing I do is I always look over the lesson and see what it looks like, because especially in this book, the first page is almost entirely review. So this is all review from the last lesson, including the vocabulary. So that's not something I need to move onto this page. So we're going to move right over to here and start putting in these words. Okay, so we're going to start working here. So I indent a ton. Indenting is like huge for me. And when I'm doing the initial words or phrases, I will do those in black so I can highlight them as well. So I will highlight that, and then I will indent again. Then I just want to make a quick note. And then I'm basically writing the exact same thing again. I just wanted that visual. And I will highlight that as well. Okay, and then we go straight into sample sentences. So what I will do is indent, and I'm going to skip a line. Typically, if there's notes, I'll do it right underneath. But since we're going straight into sentences, the reason I indent so much is so that it's very easy to see the information under like each category. So I'll go into sample sentences, and then I will indent again, and I will start writing out my sample sentences. So I use the hot pink for the Korean, or the hot whatever color it is. And then I will switch to the pastel for the English. So that way I can clearly see the Korean and it pops more off the white page than the pastel does. So it's what my eyes travel to first. And I found that is huge in making my eyes go to and read the Korean rather than the English translation. So I will just go ahead and do all the rest of my sentences like that. Okay, so I got all the sample sentences done. I'm going back to like my first like row of words because we are now learning how to say it's not delicious. Okay, so here we have some pronunciation notes. So I'm going to go ahead and highlight that like I would again. Go in a line and make my pronunciation notes. So when there's special notes like this, I will put a little asterisk. And this is very wordy. So I like to read through it and then shorten it down so that it still makes sense, but with way less words. Okay, so if you're reading those pronunciation rules with me, I know it sounds really complicated. It's actually not that complicated. It's really, really simple. And the more you learn the language and use it, the more natural it becomes. But again, those are nice notes to have. So again, we are moving on to the next round of sample sentences. Okay, so this is really boring, I know you guys, but basically this is how I do my notes. Now, I will also do things like add boxes, like I did in this lesson. I will add a box in. Let me show you guys how I do that real quick, just so you can see it. So say I wanted to add a box around the word sample sentences and put those sentences in a box. I will literally just go like that and hold. And sometimes it doesn't it'll drop like part of the box, but you can just add it in. And then you can put your sample sentences in here. You can even highlight, it can look really, really cute. You can even do boxes with the highlighter, which I love, and color them in too, which is fun. So there's tons and tons and tons of things you can do on here to make your notes more complicated. I found that the more time I take to make my notes more complicated, the less I'm actually learning though. Super fancy notes look super, super pretty, but they're not always the easiest when you're going back and studying. Now, if you're doing something like science where you need a lot of diagrams, then sometimes the fancier you get, the better. But of course, I'm studying languages, not science. So for me, the focus needs to be on the words themselves rather than the diagrams and things like that. And I find this method really, really helpful. So my big takeaway from this whole thing is when there's big, big chunks of words, go ahead and read through it really, really well. Don't get in the habit of just copying notes word for word. That's what I got in the habit of doing for a while, and it was a huge mistake because it made my notes super cluttered, super overly detailed. And if you're going to copy it word for word, just reread the book or reread the lecture slides or whatever it is. Notes are supposed to be something you can go over very quickly. Where's a good example of the notes I've taken recently where I put way too much information? Probably in here, I put a ton of extra information and stuff that I didn't really need because this is stuff I already know really well. Lots of little details that I already know. If you know something already, it doesn't necessarily need to be in your notes. Over time, my notes started getting a little bit shorter, a little bit neater, a little bit easier to read and restudy. So I would recommend, especially if you're taking a class, take your messy notes in class. It's easier if you're in college and you have lecture slides you can go over, or your teacher teaches straight out of the book. But in high school, my teachers were all over the place. So in class, I made super duper messy notes. Okay, but literally my notes in high school looked like this. Pretty much, that's what they looked like. Some days they were not even legible to me. I got better with writing faster over time, but I would take pages and pages and pages of notes because I had some teachers that taught lecture-based college professors, and it was a long day. So I took pages of notes and then I would come home and recopy those notes. That's how I studied. I would recopy them into formats that look like this, and they're quicker and easier and faster and better to study. Now that a lot of us are doing online learning, it's even easier because you have the information already in written form in front of you a lot of the time, or your teachers will allow you to download the slides straight from class, which is amazing. I wish I could have done that in school. So you can go through, take your time, make your notes, and really be able to study well. So this is how I do it. It's very simple. I will also use standard, get my pen. I will also do bullet points, dashes, stars, lots and lots and lots and lots of indenting. That helps me keep my notes really clean. And spacing. You want white space on your paper. The more you try and fit into that page, the more visually offensive it's going to be, and the harder it's going to be to study what you've written. So anyway, I know I didn't go through a whole lesson like my plan. I do want to show you sample dialogues and stuff. How I do that is I kind of change it up. Sometimes I'll do it like this, where I have like A, B, A, B, A, and then the Korean and then the English right next to it. And other times I will do it like this, where I have all the Korean over here and then all the English over here. That way I can cover it up and focus just on the Korean, or cover it up and focus just on the English and translate it to Korean in my head. So that's how I do dialogues, and then the exercises. That's how I do those as well. Just really, really simple, but I wanted to show you guys exactly how I take notes. That way, when you see a study with me, you know what I'm doing. So if you have any questions, comments, or just want to say hi, I would love, love, love to hear from you guys in the comments below. If you like this video, please, please, please give it a thumbs up. And if you haven't yet, make sure to subscribe to my channel. I post new videos every Wednesday and Sunday. And I've actually been sticking to that schedule, so that's pretty impressive. So if you're not subscribed yet, go ahead and subscribe. I make all kinds of different videos. I do beauty, I do vlogs, I do studying, pretty much anything I'm interested in at this point, I make a video about, and I would love to have you guys here with me. You can also keep up with me on Twitter and Instagram. Both of those are at Joanna M. Brooks. And all the links are below as well. So I would love to see you guys there as well. I'm on like Twitter and Instagram constantly, so I'm always peeking in. Anyway, I love you guys. Thank you so, so much for watching this video all the way through, and I will see you again next time. Bye.